him, and Power BI facilitator. I think I know a few of us, not everybody. I know Isoken. I've been seeing her from Excel class. I know Abdullahi. I know, I think that I know Angela. I think these are the people that, yeah. So I just, in the next 1 to 2 minutes, just very quick, let's just do a proper introduction of ourselves, get to know each other, and move on to the class properly. All right, so I'll start. The first thing here is let me start with Sokin. All right, Sokin, can you hear me? Just a very short introduction of yourself. Okay, your name, what you do, and what you intend to get from this Power BI class. Let's do it that way. Just good evening.
My name is Sokari Boa. Okay, what I do, I'm a sales manager.
All right, mom.
In an FMCG.
Okay.
Then, of course, what I tend to take from this class is to get insights on how Power BI is being used constantly. We use it as part of our reporting to where I work. So I'm kind of familiar with navigating some reports, but I really want to have more knowledge on how one can build a Power BI report from scratch. That's it for me, Bessie. I know I am.
Can we hear me, please? Sorry. Can we hear me? Can we hear me? Sorry. Something happened to my network. Can we hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. So thank you. So I didn't get the last part of what you expect from the class, what you intend to give from the class.
Okay, so I said I want to get knowledge on how to build a company. I currently do school. We normally use a Power BI in our report as part of our report tools where I work. So to understand how the report is used and how we can navigate using Power BI for reporting as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. So next person on my screen here is, I don't know how to pronounce his surname, but I'll just pronounce the last name, Eric. Can Eric hear me? Eric, can you hear me? Is Eric with us?
I can hear you.
All right.
My name is Chene Eric.
Okay.
I'm a Ugandan by nationality.
Okay.
I am an RF technician, though I had some background in statistics. So I'm currently doing I want to be a proficient in statistical tools like Power BI, Excel, MySQL, and others. I studied, but the job that I got it wasn't that of statistics. So like I took around 2 years without doing any statistics because I've been so more into technical part.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, so I would pick one more person, then we'll just start. All right, Success. Can Success hear me? New word, Success. Hi, Success, can you hear me? Hi, is Success there? If you are saying something, you're muted.
Hi, Miss Blessing. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Sorry,
Okay, you just joined. Okay, so your name, introduce yourself, your name, what you do, and what you intend to pick from this class, Power BI class.
Okay, I'm new at Success. I'm from Nigeria.
Okay.
I recently graduated. Okay. So what I aim to pick from this class is to learn more about Power BI and to use more advanced tools or the more advanced features of Power BI.
Okay.
Although I already have basic knowledge of what Power BI does. So I want to like advance my knowledge in it.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so we'll just move straight into. So how many of us have? Okay, I think Success said she have a basic knowledge of how to use Power BI. It's again said something around they using Power BI at her place of work. So who else has worked with Power BI before? Maybe just build a small report, or you've maybe not. You don't have too much knowledge about it, but then you've in a way interact with that particular software. Anybody? Anybody? So if there's anybody, just one person, what can you say? Okay, Joy. All right, Joy. So what can you say about Power BI? What can you say about Power BI?
Hi.
Yeah, you can just yeah. Hi, Joy. All right, I'm listening, Joy.
Can I say like
What did you say? Your
okay, what can I say like in what sense? I just recently started using network. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here with you. I'm listening.
Oh, I'm saying I recently started using Power BI, I think last month in September. So I know it's a visualization tool that is used by most business persons or business analysts to make vital decisions about growth in a business.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Right, thank you very much. Just what you said. It is what it is. Just what you said. All right, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. So without wasting much of our time, we are 15 minutes into the class now. I'm sorry for coming late once again. I'm so sorry. I was trying to just put one or two things together. That was why I joined in it. I'm so sorry. Please accept my apologies. All right, so let's just go in. I'll start with introducing us to what um, data visualization is. Then from there, move straight down to what Power BI is and move on to the practical session. So many of us have this software already installed on our laptop. If you don't have the software installed, I already uploaded a link to a video you can watch to, download Power BI desktop on your laptop because we'll be using it for this class. Okay, so introduction to data visualization. When we say data visualization, it's talking about a process of you presenting data in a visual format where you get to use charts like bar chart, column chart, pie chart, line chart. I want to believe you people are familiar with these charts because Miss Emanuela taught you people about this type of charts in Microsoft Excel. So all these charts, when you use them to present your data, that is called data visualization. When you use maps, use these graphs. So it is used to communicate complex information effectively and make data easier to understand. When you use charts to represent your information, your data, even a layman that sells pepper in the market, sells even that woman that sells, pepper, foodstuffs in the market, once they see a chart, without you explaining to them, they get to understand, okay, there's something when they say the bar, okay, a longer bar represents having higher value, a shorter bar represents having shorter value, smaller values. Anybody can understand what you're trying to present because you use visuals to represent them, you use charts to represent your information. That is data visualization. So why does data visualization matters? Why does it matter? The first thing is because it helps us make sense out of complex data. No, you just typing out your reports somewhere or just having numbers somewhere and there's no chart to visualize what that data represents. If it's too complex, nobody can understand it. But with the help of data, it just shows anybody that sees the visual at first glance, they get to understand only if they're using complex, sophisticated charts that nobody can understand. Then we have it communicates information in a way that is easily understood. Easily understood. With your bars, let's take bar chart for example now. When you look at the bar charts, you can easily point out because of the way the bars are in arrangement, if they're of the same height, you know, okay, they are equal values. If one is higher, you know, okay, that's the one that has the highest value. If the bar is short, you know, okay, that particular bar is representing a smaller value. So you can easily understand it. Anybody can easily understand that when you use a chart to represent information. Then it can reveal patterns. and insight that are difficult to see in raw data. When you open your data in Microsoft Excel without analyzing, it's very, very difficult for you to notice patterns, notice trends. Maybe you have data for sales from a particular year, let's say from 2020 to 2025, and it's very, very hard for you to notice pattern when you're looking at the raw data. But when you visualize the data, probably using a line chart, you can see patterns or trend that, okay, I think over the years, we've had more sales in the fourth quarter from 2020 to 2025. And that's because you use a line chart. So with the help of line chart, drilling down, drilling through, you get to understand, oh, I think looking at this pattern, over the years, fourth quarters will make more sales. First quarter, there's always reduction in sales. That's pattern that you've picked just by using a line chart to represent that data, to represent the information. Then we have, it can help you understand, so it can help you tell a compelling story with your data, with visuals, you can tell compelling stories. It can be used to support decision making and problems. Of course, once you've analyzed your data, use a visual, a chart, a graph to represent your information, your insights. That would help in making good decisions that by looking at your raw data, you can't even get. But because you've visualized the data, now we now understand the data very well. We've now gotten our insight from this would help us make better decisions that would help us solve whatever problem the company is facing. Then we have types of data visualization. There's bar charts, there's line chart, there's scattered plots, there's pie chart. We have, column chart. There are a lot of charts. We have a lot of them in lot of visualization charts. There are a lot of them. So these are just a few ones here. The bar charts and let me say bar chart and column charts. They are excellent for comparing categorical data across different groups, allowing for easy visual understanding of relative sizes. For example, you want to compare sales across different categories of customer. Let's say for sales, for consumer segment, office segment, what other segments? You just have 3 different segments of customers and you want to compare sales across these categories. Using a bar chart or a column chart would help, do justice to that kind of data. Then we have line charts. Line charts are ideal for showcasing trends over time. So we are trying to represent information that has to do with time, over time, trend. Is it yearly, quarterly, monthly, daily, weekly? A line chart will do justice to that kind of data. Then we have scattered plots. All these are helpful if you want to explore relationship between 2 variables. Or let's bring it to education now. Are we saying that the number of hours that students you spend studying also affects their performance? Say that the increase in study hour also result to increase in performance for their exams or their tests, or decrease in study hours affected. So trying to compare 2 variables, you want to use a scatter chart or a bubble chart to do that. Then we have pie charts. Pie charts or donut charts, they are effective for representing parts of a whole, providing a clear visual representation of portions and percentage. So we are trying to represent breakdowns or part of a whole or proportions. Use a pie chart to do that. We have this map. Map is used to represent geospatial data. That is data that has to be location, country, continent, city, regions. A map will do justice to that. So we have different, and we'll look at those when we get to Power BI. Then choosing the right visualization. Choosing the right visualization. And when it comes to visualization, there are key things you need to note before you now say, okay, let me just pick. You don't just pick a chart. If you pick a chart, you'd just like that, you would run into error. At the end of the day, you complicate things for yourself or for your audience. So things you need to know when picking a chart, picking the right visual to represent your information. The first thing is data type. The question you want to ask yourself before you start, I'm done analyzing my data now. What I want to do is to represent my information using visuals. Then the first question you want to ask yourself, okay, based on my data, what is the data type that I'm working with? What type of data type am I working with? So we have different data types. So different data types are better suited to specific visualization types. For example, scattered plots are ideal for showing relationship between variables. So I know, let's assume I have oftentimes they are all often numerical data. You only use scatter plot to represent two variables that are numerical. So like I mentioned earlier, using the study hour versus performance, if I have that kind of situation, kind of scenario, I would want to use a scatter plot. If I want to compare data across categories, then I know I'll either use a bar chart or I'll use a column chart to do that. Then if I want to represent geospatial data, I know, okay, what I'm going to use is either a map chart. A map chart would do justice to that. So the data I'm working with also help in knowing what type of visual to use. Then two, we have data message. Your visualization should communicate a clear message about the data. So think about what insight you want to highlight. So whatever insight you want to highlight in your report should now, determine the kind of visual you want to pick to represent that insight. Then the third thing is audience. Consider the audience understanding of data visualization and the context of presentation. For example, now, if your audience or whoever you will presenting to is a data analyst like you, or someone that understands data, there's a way the type of visual that you want to use. They want to see data to the granular level, even to the simplest detail. So you have to probably want to use a table chart, a table visual to explain your workings and everything. If you're dealing with executives, if your audience are stakeholders, non-technical stakeholders, when I say non-technical, these are people that they don't really understand what you've done. If you just they don't understand the whole hard work you put in, they only want to see, okay, is our company making profit or not? This executive body are we doing well, or the business is sick? Let's treat it. Then you know that you can't just go ahead and start using complex chart like scattered plots or some things that some sophisticated visual that will not make sense to them. When you're dealing with people like this, you want to use KPI card to represent your data, simple bar chart, column chart, to represent your info, so that once they see it, you don't have to even start stressing yourself to understand what is there. Oh, we can see now that the business is moving forward. Oh, we can see that there's a need for us to improve in our sales or anything. So you need to know your audience determines the type of visual you'll be using. Then we have tools and resources. There are many data visualization tools available for both either free or paid. So some popular options include, we have Tableau. Tableau is a tool for visualization. You have Power BI. You have Google Data Studio. It is called Looker Studio now. Looker Studio. So all these are different tools that you can use for data visualization. Then we have effective color palette. All right, so color palette are vital for data visualization as they influence how information is perceived and interpreted. So choosing the right color palette can enhance readability, highlight patterns, and convey meaningful effects. For example, of course, you want to build a report, build your visual now. You can't just leave it plain. You want to use color to do that. So sometimes you need to understand how color works first. Okay, you want to deal with what kind of color do I want to use for my background of my report? What kind of color do I want to use for the body of some of the chart or for the bars? What kind of color can I use to represent some key informations? So if you want to represent decrease, what you want the company to know that we have a problem in this report though. Our business is going down. There's a decrease in our profit or our revenue. Then you want to use a red color to represent a decrease. Or if there's an increase, you want to use a green color. What is sentimental color? Represent that, okay, there's an increase. If you want to represent average, okay, you want to use the yellow color to represent that kind of information. So that you just use any color just use it just like that. And there are times people just building reports, you just see some color blocking, different color. You can see 5 to 7 colors on a report. No, at least the highest, maybe you want to do let's say you want to do 3, 4, 3. I recommend you want to do 3 colors, blend your colors together. One for your background, then 2 others, and if you want to add more for other things you want to add to it, then note the important things you want to highlight. Use colors that would make sense. And sometimes I've been report for those working with the company, you want to build reports that has your brand color, your company's brand color to do that. Okay, so we have designing for clarity and impact. So I'm just trying to quickly share these things with you before we move to the practical session. So designing for clarity and impact. There are 3 steps in this. The first one is focus on the message. So when you want to, build your report, start designing your report, the first thing you want to do is just focus on the message that you want to convey. Prioritize the key message you want to convey. Ensure that the data visualization effectively communicates your point. You want to talk about how that, the distribution of sales across different consumer or customer sectors. A very, very, just use, you want to use a bar chart to do that, and to show, okay, those ones that are the highest. Maybe you want to add a conditional formatting. Don't worry, you will understand very soon. Add a conditional formatting to just make it, that particular person with the highest or particular segment with the highest revenue to stand out amongst all of that. There's a way you focus on the message. The objective, one thing about, analyzing it and everything, you have to first understand the objective. So if part of your objective is that we want to know the, consumer segment that is giving us the highest revenue, then in your report, when building that visual, you might want to highlight that particular data point that is generating the highest revenue in that bar chart for us. So maybe every other one will have gray color or no fill at all. Then that particular customer segment that generates the highest revenue has the color like that. Then we have to the simplicity. Simplicity is key. So minimize clustered by using clear and concise label, legends and annotations. Avoid unnecessary embellishment or distraction. Anything that would cause, the goal is that they focus on that key thing that would help the business, survive, help the business, move forward and get more profit. So avoid clusters in your work. Make sure that whatever chart you're using, whatever thing you are writing on that report is just clear. It's clear and concise. It is straight to the point. Then we have color and contrast. We have constraints. So we have employ a color palette that is both visually appealing and helps to distinguish data points. I explained that already. Then ensure sufficient contrast for readability. All right, so the next one here is still on this point. There are different things you need to know. You can see we have 4 stages here. So the first one is simplify structure. So how do you simplify structure when it comes to you want to start building reports? Okay, group related data, numerical data that okay, data that has to be customer, group them one side. The one that has to do with product, one side. The one that has to do with you just have to group the data, group them related data together. Oh, numerical data, you want them to be one place in our fact table and the likes. Then we have choose the right visualization to avoid overwhelming views. I'm sorry, overwhelming your viewers. Choose the right visualization. Let it be something that if anybody come check your report, they can understand what you are doing without you. If you create a report and nobody can explain your report, only if you are there, I think, well, it's not, or it depends on what kind of project you're working on, but at least someone should be able to interpret your report. Then we have use interactive elements to allow your viewers to explore your data. So if you are building reports, make sure that your data have interactive elements. Is it a page navigator to navigate through pages of your data? Is it slicers to slice through your data? Just put something that will make them interact with your report. Then we have priority clarity to focus on the key insight, that's which the company has requested you to do. That problem they've asked you to solve with your analysis, focus on that. Don't focus on something else entirely. Only if you find something very important and need to know, that is when you should also add it in. So we have working with massive data sets can be challenging. Visualizing large and complex data effectively requires a strategic approach. The key is to simplify the structure of data by grouping related information and choosing appropriate visualization that avoid overwhelming viewers. To enhance data exploration, use interactive elements such as filters or slicers and zoom capabilities. Then we have, remember, the goal is to present key insights in a very clear and concise manner, ensuring that the visualization aids in understanding the data and drawing meaningful conclusions. By prioritizing clarity and focusing on the most important information, you can make even the most complex data accessible and insightful. All right, so we have incorporating interactivity. So interactive data visualization can engage viewers and provide a more immersive experience. Imagine I build a report now. Okay, is there a report that okay, so I'll show us that later. So imagine building a report now after uploading on Power BI service, and you share the link with me or with somebody, with your colleague, and the report is just there. I can't interact with it. I can't check. Let's say now that your data is ranging from like a particular year to a particular year, let's say from 2020 to 2022, and I can't drill down your report to see report for 2020 alone or for 2021 alone, for 2022 alone. Just make sure that your report should be something that your viewers can interact with. They can drill down, drill through, drill to see, to get information from a report. Then we have interactive features such as what you can use to make your, your visual interactive. Zoom, if you add a zoom slider, like so they can zoom in or zoom out. Pan, we have filtering, we have tooltips. All this can help users explore the data more deeply. So note that. Now, best practice for data visualization. 1, clear and concise. Your data visualization must be, whatever report you are building with any data viz tool, must be clear and concise. Avoid unnecessary drama on your reports that viewers will not get carried away with the unnecessary drama and forget about the important thing they should pick from a report. Avoid it. So just aim for clarity and readability. 2, accessible to all. Ensure that your data is understandable by everyone, regardless of their technical expertise, whether they are technical persons or non-technical data persons. Ensure that even if Nedu that sells cosmetics in the market sees your report, understands that, oh boy, there's something going up in this, there's something coming down. They should be able to understand that. We have ethical considerations. So be mindful of potential biases and avoid misleading information. Make sure that everything you are putting in your reports is what it is. Don't add to it. Don't remove from it. Then we have provide context. Explain the story behind the data and its implication. Explain the story behind your data and the implication of that. All right, so the conclusion and next steps. Data visualization is a powerful tool for communicating insights. I've been saying this. Effective data visualization can help you understand complex data, make informed decisions, and tell compelling stories. So now that you have learned the basics, start practicing, experiment with different visualization types, experiment with different palettes, and build your skill set so that we out, walk you through this palette as we continue in the class. So now to the main thing, I just walk you through what data visualization is itself. So now we're looking at Power BI, introduction to Power BI. So just like what Joy said in the beginning of the class, how that Power BI is that tool that I use for creating reports. I think Isoken said it as well. So Power BI is that powerful data visualization and business intelligence tool from Microsoft. So Microsoft made it. It allows you to connect with a wide range of data sources. When we say wide range of data sources, it means you can connect data, your data from flat files with Power BI from your SQL Server database. Companies now don't store data in Excel file anymore. Companies now store data in clouds. So you can connect your company data or in the database to Power BI. You can take data from the web and connect to Power BI. You can connect to millions of data sources with Power BI. So that transform is to change your data, maybe from raw data to data that's ready for analysis. That most likely what you'll be doing. You would always transform data. Transforming is just you changing how the data is looking from being raw to something that is useful that can be presented. Then we have model the data. With Power BI, you can create relationship between tables. Like I mentioned earlier, you can have different tables. You can have table for customer, you can have table for product, you can have table for, for transaction, for location of business and everything. So all this, with the help of Power BI, you can create relationship between these tables, see how this table connects with each other. Now we have create stunning interactive reports and dashboard. Now the main purpose, the main is that with Power BI you can now create interactive reports and dashboards. Okay, so now the next thing is still on what is Power BI. Think about the fact that Power BI allows you to connect to this one is we have millions of data sources you can connect to: Excel, databases, cloud services, and more. Then two, data transformation. With the help of Power Query in Power BI, you can clean your data, you can shape your data, you can transform, you can just do some retouch to your data to make it ready for analysis. Then the third thing is data visualization. So Power BI offers a wide range of visualization from simple charts to complex infographics that you can use to build your report. Then we have dashboards and reports. So you can create interactive dashboards and reports to represent your data in a meaningful way. All right. So Power BI desktop. Now, one thing you should know about Power BI desktop. Before, let me see if there's a part. Okay. Now, before we look at this, Power BI is divided into three components. We have the Power BI desktop, we have Power BI service, and we have Power BI mobile app. So the Power BI desktop is this one that you have on your system now, downloaded on your system. That's Power BI desktop. Then we have Power BI service. When you are now done building your report on Power BI and you publish it on Power BI service, although you can also create reports directly on Power BI service. That Power BI service is more like it's a cloud base. It's a cloud base where you can also share reports there with people, with your colleagues, collaborate on projects. You can also build reports there, although there are limitations, the kind of visual to use on Power BI service compared to the desktop. That's the cloud base. Then we have Power BI mobile app where you can access your reports through your phone. That is the Power BI mobile app on your phone without you having to pick up your laptop every time. So you can easily check report on my laptop, on my phone. That's on Power BI app using my phone. Very, very easy. So those are the three components of Power BI. So now for Power BI desktop, so the Power BI desktop is a free desktop application that allows you to build and customize your own reports and dashboards. Then we have data modeling. So use the modeling data features to create relationship between your data sources and build a robust data model. So with Power BI desktop, you can create relationship between your table. When you want to create a one-to-one relationship, one-to-many relationship, all those kind of relationship, you do that with using your Power BI desktop. Then we have visualization creation. So we have lots of visuals to work with in Power BI that you can pick from to create your report. Then the next one is Power BI service. Like I said, web-based or cloud-based platform. So the Power BI service is a cloud-based platform that allows you share and collaborate on your reports and dashboard. So you can have a team, a workspace where you have teams there. Let's say you're working with companies where you have teams. You can all collaborate on reports together. Someone can be assigned to be the commenter or viewer alone or editor of your report and anything. So you can just work on projects with your guys in a team there on Power BI service. So we have Power BI mobile app, like I mentioned earlier, that allows you to view and interact with your report and dashboard on the go using your mobile phone. Then we have some administrative tools. So the Power BI service provides administrative tools to manage users, govern data, and control access to your report. And there's something called RLS, role level security. I don't know if we'll be able to do that in this course. This RLS has to do with you giving access to, either granting or revoking access to your report. So it means I can decide to say, let's assume you're working on data that has to do with, you're working on a report that where we have two managers in two places. Let's say managers in the one manager is in Europe and one is in North America, right? And you're working on the report for both regions together, I can decide to place a restriction on my report such that I would filter out record for only those in Europe alone and assign the manager of Europe to see the report. That's level of security. So it means they can be seeing the same report, but the person in Europe will only see report for Europe. The person in North America will only see report for North America. That's level of security. So most times you create this RLS in Power BI desktop when you're implementing the Power BI service by assigning roles to those people in Power BI service. So I don't know if we have time to do that. I might show us how. I think I should. So maybe towards the end of the class, I would show us how to create and assign RLS in Power BI. Okay, so let's continue. Then we have connecting to data sources. You can connect to various data sources, hundreds of data sources in Power BI. Data gateway, real-time data. You can schedule refresh, although you do this one in your Power BI service. Then we have data transmission with Power Query. Now, one important tool, because what is Power Query? Power BI without Power Query, it is useless. Only if you just want to build report alone. But Power Query is that powerful tool in Power BI that you can use to transform data. So I call it a powerful ETL tool. When I say ETL, I mean ETL, E for extraction, that is data extraction, T for transformation, L for loading. That's what ETL means. So you might be asked in an interview what ETL means. So note that ETL is extraction, transforming, and loading. So Power BI is that Power Query is that tool that is for extracting data. So it means I can extract data from different sources. Then you transform it, use the intuitive Power Query interface to clean your data, shape it, append, match queries together, combine tables together, remove columns that you don't want, add columns that you want, all those things you want to do, change the cases of your data from uppercase to lowercase, any transformation you want to apply to your data, do that with Power Query. Then once you are done, you've checked it, okay, I think I'm good. This data is clean. With that same Power Query, you now load your data to the main place where you want to start visualizing or creating reports with that data that is clean now. We'll look at it, don't worry. So the next one is data modeling with Power BI. Like I said, when it comes to modeling, it has to do with you creating relationship between your tables. So with Power BI, you can establish relationship between data tables to enable cross-filtering and more advanced analysis. Imagine you have different tables, one that has to be customer, one that has to do with location of business, one that has to do with product that are being sold, one that has to do with salespersons or suppliers. We have different tables for different entities. And what you want to do before you can start running analysis to see, okay, how many customers are purchasing this amount of product? How do you link the customer table to the product table? So with the help of data modeling in Power BI, you get to connect or create a relationship between all tables that you're working with. Then number 2 is manage measures, right? Manage measures. So define custom measures using DAX formula language to calculate key metrics. Very, very DAX, DAX, it is called data analysis expression. So DAX is a very, very powerful formula in Excel, a powerful language not in Excel. We have DAX in Excel as well. So DAX in Power BI, I'm talking about Power BI now, that you use in creating measures and calculated columns. So we'll look at that as we continue in class. So don't bother yourself about that. Then the third thing is optimize performance. So you can optimize your data model to perform by managing your storage modes and your aggregations. All right. So the next thing here is visualizations and reports. So with Power BI, you can use charts to represent your data. We have different charts. There's charts, bar charts, column charts. There's card, visual. There's maps. There's slicers. Look at those ones now. Then introduction to DAX. DAX. So we'll still come back to this when that will be that will be next week when we start looking at the Power BI front end info. So we have DAX, like I mentioned earlier. DAX is a formula language, data analysis expression. It's a very, very powerful formula language used in Power BI to create custom calculations and measures. Then 2 is time intelligence. So DAX function they provide functions for working with date and time. We have different types of DAX functions. When we get there, we have mathematical and stat function. They are date and time function. They are time interface function, logical functions, table functions. We have lots of them. So when we get there, I would share with us all those things. So DAX can be used to perform time intelligence calculations. We have contextual awareness. So DAX formulas are context aware. So it means that they can always adapt. So these things, I may not really get it, but when we get so you understand this part of DAX. Then optimization. DAX expressions are optimized for fast performance, even with large data sets and complex calculations. Okay, so the last thing, this last slide here, DAX functions and measures. So like I mentioned earlier, we have different types of DAX functions. So we have calculate is an example of DAX functions. We have sum, we have average, we have if, we have date add. So when we get to DAX in our class, I would show us more functions that we can work with, and the site you get to, get more knowledge or more DAX function from. So I will share with us. So let's just start Power BI properly, and so I think this is it. So let's start the class. I uploaded some materials that I'll be working with into this class on our classroom. So now before this Power BI desktop opens, so let me see who's going to share what he or she picked from this now. Okay, so all right, it's okay. And Zainab, can Zainab hear me? Zainab, can you hear me? So if you can hear me in 2 minutes, or let me just straight. So anybody that wants to share. So in 2 minutes, what's that thing you picked from all I've said so far? What's that thing that stood out for you from everything I've said so far? So not just sign up now. Anybody can answer the question. And if nobody's answering, I'll just pick anybody. All right. So in 2 minutes, who wants to share? Who wants to share? Okay. Nobody wants to share.
Hello, can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so although I was a bit distracted, but I picked ETL, which talks about extracting, transforming, and of course loading data on Power BI. So you also made mention of Power BI desktop, Power BI service, which allows a company or any person to get data from cloud or webs or so and connect it with Power BI. Although there's a bit of restriction on that part, maybe I'm right. Then you also talked about Power BI mobile, that we can use any of them to build our reports, upload our report, and also view reports.
All right, thank you very much for sharing that. Thank you. Okay, anybody who else wants to share? It's again just said something. I need a guy now. A guy. Where are we? Who wants to share something? All right, I am with you.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
So you said a lot actually. I will start with data visualization. You talked about data visualization on how it involves representing the numbers or the data we have with image, and you or with pictures. Let me just put it that way. Then you mentioned
let's use the word visual or chart instead of pictures.
Okay,
I think that puts, yeah, thank you.
Okay, visual or representing our data visually or with charts. So you mentioned that when we want to present it, we're presenting to a client, for example, or to a layman who does not understand anything about tech, it should be clear. It should be something that is simple, not too complex. So it should not there should be clarity in what we are presenting. That's just what
all right, thank you very much. Thank you for sharing, Ayumi. Thank you. All right, so my Power BI is open right now. Then the first thing you would see when you open a Power BI desktop on your laptop. Now note, right? If your laptop is having 4 GB, I'm sorry, right? Power BI is very powerful. If you're using Mac, you might not be able to install Power BI only if you probably create a what do you call this environment? Now, if virtualization is an environment that would create Windows, a special Windows for Power BI to function, because Power BI was made for just Windows laptop alone. So if you're using Mac, you might not be able to install it only if you have a software that will allow you to use a Windows software. Then, yeah, so if you're using a system that is 4 gig RAM, you might be experiencing some lagging with Power BI because Power BI is so powerful. It consumes a lot of battery and storage as well. So, and if your RAM is 4 gig RAM, you experience this thing. At some point, you start seeing that your laptop is slow. It's not opening. Sometimes it takes time to open and everything. But don't worry, just take your time. So take your time. Make sure you don't have too many things on your laptop, right? And if you have more than 4 gig RAM, you're good. All right, so the first thing you would see when your Power BI open is this section. This is the first thing that will pop up. The backstage visual will pop up. So in this section, you get to see different sources to ask you, okay, I know you are here to either use Power Query or to create a report. What do you want to do? Do you want to create a blank report? Or you want to drain data from different sources? Just tell me what you want to do. Then it's going to recommend, if you have some recommendations. I don't have any recommendation here. Then the next thing is going to do, you have this section, is the recent section and the share with me. So if you are new to Power BI, you may not see anything here. This way you are seeing something is because this is a report I built with some of my students. That's why you are seeing some things here. Then there's a share with me. So if I have any report that was shared with me by my team members or anything, I would see them. If I don't have a shared report, I only have report that I've worked on here. So in this part here, we have the home button. This home button this is where we're currently, the home page. Then we have open. So if you have a PBIX file, and that's the way Excel extension is like SLXS, all those extension at the back of an Excel file. The extension for Power BI files is PBIX. So if you have a PBIX file in your system, let's say a report you built on Power BI and you've saved in your system, then you want to open it. If I come here and click on open, you can see there are all those files I've worked on. And if I want to browse from my device, if I don't see it here, I would, but that's not, I'll go back to my home. Then we have this part, there's sign out. So currently I'm signed into Power BI and see my name at the top here. So if I should hit sign out now to sign me out of this account. So you don't have to worry. Towards the end of the class, I'll show you how to sign in or how to get the email to sign in. Because you can't use a personal email to sign into Power BI. You can only use organization email or school email. So we have options and settings. So if you want to do some small settings or set your Power BI to give you some certain settings, you come here to options and settings. Then you want to know more about your Power BI, click on about, and it would tell you about your Power BI, what it is and everything. So I'll go back. So this is where we are. Now I'm just going to click on, maybe from your own and just click on blank reports. But I think because I clicked on this about, it has already opened the blank report for me. So I'll go back to the blank report. But for you, just click on blank report. So go back to this place. This is how the Power BI interface looks like, just like Microsoft Excel. The only thing is that in Excel, we have spreadsheet, a section that contains rows and columns, cells that you can input data into. Or here in Power BI, we have this section and we have the canvas section. Now, this section, this top here, let me call it ribbon tab, just like in Excel, ribbon tab. In every ribbon tabs, we have what we call groups. In every groups, you have what we call commands or functions. Now, let's use the word commands or buttons instead. So what do I mean? This is Power BI now. All these are called tabs: home tab, insert tab, modeling tab, view tab, optimize tab, the help tab. All these are called tabs. But in each tabs, we have what we call groups. So it means in the home tab, I have clipboard group, data group, queries group, insert group, calculations group, sensitivity group, share group, copilot. You might have this, you might not have this. It depends on your version of you. I think you should have it. Then we have insert. Inside insert tab, we have pages group, visuals group, AI visuals, Power Platform, elements, sparklines. So just like that, modeling, you see all these are groups. Now, in each groups, you have what we call commands. So in my home tab, in the clipboard group, I have paste command, cut command, copy command, format command. In my home tab, inside the data group, I have get data command, Excel workbook command, OneLake catalog, SQL server, enter data command, data vars, like that. So in every tabs, we have groups, and in every groups, we have commands. So note this, I might just say, oh, Abdullah, go to your modeling tab, go to your modeling tab. In your security group, this is your security group, place your cursor on the view as command. This is view as command, even if it's grayed out, because I have not applied any security yet. So you need to know this, note this. These are terms, key terms you should note. Then when we come to this section is called the canvas. This is where you get to build your report. And you look at this side, my left-hand side, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons here. So I already introduced us to these first 3 buttons, then other two. So this button is where we are currently, report view. These parts they are seen here that my cursor is moving around on. It's called the canvas. This is where you get to build your report. Put your visual, use them to represent your data and everything. This part is that part that you get to build your report. And the next one is your table view. Your table view is that place where you get to view your data, whatever data you bring into Power BI front end. Any data you bring in, you get to view them here in a table view, in tabular form. You're not seeing anything now because I have not imported any data into Power BI. That's why you're not seeing anything here. So once I import data now and I come to table view, you will see data in tabular form. Then we have model view. Now with the help of this diagram, you can see that models are connected to each other, tables are connected to each other. So this is where you get to link or connect tables together from different sources. So if you want to connect customer to product to, you just want to connect tables together. So that is how we have this one here. Then on our right hand side, let me expand this. We have this filter pane, we have visualization pane, and we have this data pane. So what about these panes? Now this filter pane is, you can do three things with this filter pane. So let's assume I've built a report here now. And what I want to do is you can either filter reports based on a visual, or filter reports based on filter the whole page, or filter all entire pages of your report. So it means if I want to filter all 3 pages of my report, I can come here and filter, let the filter be added to all the 3 pages. With just a single page, let it be added to just a single page. With just on a visual, let it be added to just a single visual. So if you want to apply filters, we'll look at it, don't worry. You would see how we use this filter pane to do that. Then we have visualization pane. This is where you get to add different visuals. You can see we have different visuals here. There's, stack bar chart, we have stack column chart, we have clustered bar chart, we have clustered column chart, there's 100% stack bar. All these are, you can see the first one at the top here are charts used for comparison. Charts used for comparing, different categories of data or values across different categories of data. These are charts for comparison. Now you see the ones here, all these charts here are charts used for showing trends, representing trends of data over time. You can see line charts, area charts. So area chart and line chart are the same thing. The only difference is that for line chart, it's just line. For the area charts, you see line and there's a fill at the, let me click on it. There's a fill at the bottom. It's still line chart, but there's a fill. If I click on line charts here now, this is a line chart. It just shows a line, but area chart shows a line as well as fill at the bottom of that line. So these are charts for showing trends over time. You can see these ones here. Then we have this chart. There's ribbon chart, there's waterfall chart, there is funnel chart, there is scattered chart, that's scattered plot chart that I explained earlier for showing relationship between 2 variables. We have pie chart or donut chart. I love using, they are both used for showing proportions or breakdown of the data, but I love using donut chart. I prefer using donut chart every time. Then we have tree map. So tree map is that type of chart for representing hierarchical data. What do I mean hierarchical data? I mean data that has to do with hierarchy. For example, if I want to represent, let's say I have a data, let's say I'm working with a product table that has category of product, subcategory of product, the product itself. That kind of data is hierarchical data because it's showing us, we can see when we say hierarchy has to do with when a level of data is the parent level of another data. For example, product subcategory is the parent of, product category is the parent of product subcategory, and subcategory is the parent of product name itself. That kind of data, if you want to represent, let's say I want to represent this kind of data based on the sales, then I want to use a tree map because it's in a hierarchical data, I mean. Then we have, these are maps. There's field map, there's field map, there's Azure map. If you want to represent geospatial data, you want to show sales in different countries, different continents, different county, different region, different province, use your map to do that. Then we have gauge. If you want to, let's assume you're dealing with data that has to be targets. You don't meet the target, don't meet the target. You want to use a gauge to do that. Then we have this single card visual. So card visual are used to just represent a single, a single measure or a single data point. For example, let's say we're just finding total revenue. So I can just use a single card visual to represent total revenue, and it would represent that. Then we have there's multi-row card, there's KPI. That KPI thing about that you can use to represent data for we are creating report for executive body. So with this KPI, it would allow you to show you the increase and the decrease using some icons. Maybe how many percent increase, how many percent decrease. We'll look at it in our class too. Then we have slicer. I want to believe Mr. Nene taught you what slicer is used for in Microsoft Excel. So slicer, the way it's being used in Excel to slice through your pivot tables or your data, it's also used here. When you hear the word slicer, it's just to filter down your data, to slice through your data. So we have table visual, we have matrix visual. These are also that is for representing data in tabular form. Then we have other ones. We have R script visual. You're dealing with R, bringing R into Power BI, Python into Power BI. These are, then we have key influencers. We have decomposition tree. Then we have, Q&A, all other ones here. Then we have some new ones. Card new, this card new, just something like this. But the only difference is that for this one, it only takes one single measure, while this can take multiple measures. Don't worry, we'll see how it works. So we have other ones here. Now this part is any chart you choose. This is where you get to input the variables, input the values that you want to. Okay, what do you want to be on the x-axis? What do you want to be on the y-axis? Like that. So that is how it works. And this side, the reason why you're not seeing anything here is because we've not imported any data. So once I import data now, you get to see the data here on this side. We're not seeing anything here because nothing is here. This is Power, we call this part Power BI front end. Power BI front end, where you get to build your report, is this part. Now, how do I get to Power BI, to Power Query in Power BI? Remember I said Power Query is a powerful ETL tool. That is a tool for data extraction, transformation, and loading. So now, just come here. I'm going to show us, I may not show us all, but I'll show us how you can bring data from a flat file, from the web, from a PDF. Then I'll show you from SQL Server. I'll use my own, the one on my laptop, LocalDB. Then I would show you how to bring in data, how to type in data manually into Power Query. So let's get started. How do I access Power Query? You can't access Power Query. There's no button to get here, only if you decide to get data. So you can see here in my home tab, in the data group, we have different options here. So it's going to ask you. So if you know and you're sure, the data you want to bring is an Excel workbook. Click on Excel workbook. It's from one lake catalog, sorry. You click here. It's from SQL Server. You click here. So you might not really be familiar with SQL Server. That's if you are new to data analytics. You might not be familiar with it, but you did that after this course. SQL Server, this is the companies now store data in database, large database. So SQL Server, then if you want to enter data manually, data here. So how do I get to Power Query? I can come here. So if you want to see more options, because we have limited options here, come here and click on Get Data, drop down button. When you click on the drop down button, you see different options. Is it workbook? the Power BI semantic model. So this semantic model is, if I publish my work to Power BI service, I can still reuse that data to build another report again. So it means if I can, by clicking on this button, I can connect to the data that I built, that I have published to Power BI service, and still use the data sets that I used to build that report. Then we have data flows, data vars, SQL Server, analysis services, text/CSV. We have web, OData feeds, blank query, and there are more. I click on more now. It will bring out more options. You can see we have more options. All of them. This is all of them. You can see we have a lot of places to get data from. A lot of them. Let's say I'm working with, I want to bring in a workbook, an Excel file. So I'll click on Excel, and I'll come here and click connect. Now this would request for, okay, where is the data you want to work with? So I'll go and find the data sets that I want to work with. I think, come here to my desktop. I'll go to, okay, so I think it's here in Nara Hub. See here? Now, when I click on Nara Hub, it's not as if I don't have other files in this folder. In fact, I have a lot of files in this folder. But because I selected Excel workbook, it only picked the one that is Excel workbook. If I come here now, and I come here, and I say, okay, I don't want only Excel file. Show me all the files in this folder. You can see we have lots of files. But because by default, I chose Excel workbook, it only returned the one with the extension for Excel workbook alone. That was the only one it returned. So I'll just bring this in. So if you have an Excel file on your system, you can just try that example, try it and bring in the data. So I'll bring this in and I'll hit open. So once I hit open, you can see it's going to try to create a connection. This is a flat file now, a connection between Power BI and that file on my desktop. So once I click on that, now we have this navigator pane, this navigator dialog box pops up. So it's asking me, okay, say the two data in that file you just clicked on. What do you want to bring in? Do you want to bring both files, or you want to bring one? You can preview by just selecting the file you are working with. This is instruction. You can see this is instruction of the data. This is the data set itself. So if I want to bring this particular one in, I'm going to just check the box. When you come to this bottom part, we have three options. There's load, there's transform data, and there's cancel. Now, load. What load will do is Power Query. Now, we've not seen the interface, but we'll see it very soon. Power Query is the back end of Power BI. Why this front that I just showed you, this one that I just explained now, is Power BI front end. So I hit load. What it will do is it will send it directly to the Power BI front end, and you will now see data appearing on this right hand side here. But it's not safe that you just click on load, because the truth is, you might think it does not have error and you're not seeing it. But it might contain error that might affect analysis that you have to remove. So it's advisable, don't just hit load. Click on transform, so you can inspect your data and be 100% sure that, oh boy, this data is very, very good and ready for analysis. Not that, oh, I made a mistake, I should have checked it, I just loaded it into Power BI. If one mistake can cost you, it can just cost you and cost for the business. So I'll just hit transform data. Cancel is just going to cancel this whole navigator and everything. I'll click on transform data. Transform data will now take me to Power Query. So waiting for you to connect Power Query. This is how the Power Query interface looks like. Not different from the Power BI front end, but this is where you get to do all transformation. You can still do transformation in Power BI front end, but most of it is done in Power Query. Let me close this. Now you can see the data I just brought in here. Now let's explain the Power BI Power Query interface. So what you are seeing here, you are seeing we have different tabs as usual. We have home tab, and in every tabs we have groups. In every group we have commands. So we have home tab, transform tab, add column tab, view tab, tools tab, help tab. This home tab is where you get to, if you're trying to transform new data, new tables that you bring into Power Query, use that. Transform tab works best if you are trying to deal with existing tables. You want to transform existing tables. They'll have different functions that you can, as we continue the class, you see some of the buttons we'll be using. Then we have the add column. So this add column tab is that tab that gives you option to add more columns to your data based on what you want to add to your data, to your table. I mean, then we have, okay, all right. Then we have the view tab. The view tab is that tab that allows you to, view your page, the sheets that you're looking at now in Power BI. Do you want to remove the formula bar, add or remove something to it from that page, from that view? You want to remove, add the formula bar. This is the formula bar here now. But I'll check this box now. It will remove the formula bar. So anything you want to do, the view tab allows you to do that. You can show query dependencies, advanced editor, and the likes. Then we have tools. If you want to diagnose some things in your Power Query, can do that. Then help, you need more help on what to do. The help section is there for you. But most of the time, the sessions that I use often, 1, 2, 3, 4, are the sessions I touch most of the time. I don't think I've ever worked with something here or here, but 1, 2, 3, 4 are tools I use most of the time. So yeah, now on this side we have query pane. This query pane is every table or data you bring into Power Query is called a query. It is called query. That is why you're saying this section is named queries. So you can add in any table you bring, it will be added to this section. You see them listed on this left-hand side. Then on this part, you can see the middle. The middle is where you get to view the data. This is what I brought in now. You're seeing it here. You're seeing that the tables, we have different data. We have the customer name, category, quantity, and the likes. You're seeing it here. Then on this side, we have query settings pane. In this query settings pane, we have properties pane. We have applied step pane. This part here is where you get to see the name of the data set you brought in, and also you can rename it. So let's say I want to say sales data, then I want to call it Excel file. It's an Excel file. I want to call it Excel file. I'll name it Excel file like this. So you can rename your data, your table here, or remove it, or anything you want to do. Changes you want to apply, do it here. Now in this part, we have applied step. You see, this source just shows us where our data set came from. The source of the data, where it came from. It's telling you, okay, it came from this particular folder on my system. Navigation, the one you brought in, how you brought it in. So by default, when I brought this data in, I didn't promote headers or change data type, but by default, Power BI already did that for me. Only if I want to go and change in the setting that, okay, don't promote my headers or change any of my data type, leave it for me to handle. And it's when it would stop doing that. But because it is still set to be that way, anytime you upload data into Power Query, and the settings is allow the promotion of headers and changing of data type, it will always promote headers and also help you change the data type. So I'll come here and click on the last step here. So it means that every steps that you apply, if I remove a column here now, let's say I remove this unit price column, right click, and I come here and say remove. You can see the moment I click on remove and remove that table, you can see that the step was recorded here, remove columns. So every steps, every transformation that you apply to your data in Power Query is recorded here. And note, unlike Excel, there's nothing like undo, redo, Control Z, Control Y. No, you can't do that here. So what you do is, if I want to just undo the step, take it back to where we still have unit price in that table, all I have to do is just come here and click on this, cancel it. But note, whatever you cancel, whatever step you cancel can never ever be retrieved or regained. You have to do it again. So if I come here and click on cancel this step of removing columns, you see the data back, it's back to this table. But I can't take it back to when I've removed it. It's not possible. And if it's Excel, I can always Control Y, Control Z, Control Y, Control Z, and I'm fine. But here in Power BI, Power Query, you have to be very careful. So before you cancel a step, be sure that I want to cancel the step, because something can be very, very risky. That you've done calculation to a point and you just cancel the step, and that step that you cancel now affect other things you've done. You now start saying, you're looking for a table that you removed. Maybe the table you removed has been used to calculate something. Then before you know, everything just scatters and there'll be a problem. So be sure and be aware that watch the step you are canceling will not affect other steps you've applied. So be sure before you just remove anything. So that's for Excel. Then we have, let me do CSV file. So when I say CSV file, CSV, okay, does anybody know what CSV is? What do you understand by the word CSV? CSV file, what does CSV file means? Anybody?
Comma separated value.
Thank you very much. Comma separated value. When we say comma separated value, these are, okay, so what's comma separated value? What is that? It's just comma separated. What is that? What does it mean?
Okay, the data are separated by commas.
By commas, exactly. So let's use, let me check this folder that has the data. It's not. All right. Now, when you look at this data that we have here, this is the only Excel file here, Excel workbook. These ones, they're looking like Excel, but they are not Excel. They are CSV files. And one of the way you can differentiate it is when you look at the icon beside, when you look at the this Excel icon here, you see it show X and you are seeing line dash dash dash. But for this one, says we are seeing X and you are seeing A, XA. So when you see XA on the icon of that Excel icon of that file, that's the CSV file. So let me open this data now using my notepad. So you see why it's called a CSV file. So I'll come here and say open with notepad. If I click on just Excel, open with Excel, it will open it as normal file, Excel file. But I just clicked and open with my own notepad now. And what you see is it's being separated by comma. So CSV files are files that are separated by either comma, not just comma, any type of delimiter. It could be slash, it could be dots, it could be hyphen, semicolon, colon. A delimiter can be anything. But for this one, it is comma. So I'll go back. So let's say I'm going to bring in one of these. Let's say I'm working with this Power BI practice sales month one. So I'll come back to my Power BI. I'll come back to my Power BI. Then I'm going to come here and hit on new source, still in my home tab. In my home tab, inside the new queries group, I'll come and click on new source button here. And I'll select text/CSV. So I'm selecting text/CSV. So once I select text/CSV, you can see that it's not as if we don't have more data, but it only selected the ones that contain that CSV or text. And that's why you're seeing it here. So I'm going to select this Power Practice Sales one. Click on that, and I'm going to hit open. So you can see this open. Then this dialog box you're seeing it is different from the one that appeared when I was selecting from Excel sheets. That's because it's a CSV file. So it's trying to confirm, okay, what's your file origin? All right. The type of the data separating your data, you see a comma, or it's an equal to sign or semicolon. So maybe if you know that but most times it detects the type of delimiter, it detects it most times correctly. But if you know that Power BI, you picked something else, my delimiter is slash, but you're showing me comma, then you can always come back and check and select the one that is right for your data. But it's ours is comma. Then there's data type detection. Don't forget I said that Power BI, with the way it was set, automatically helps you detect the data type of the data. So currently you can see that it's based on first 200 rows. I know this data is not up to 200, right? So I can just leave it like this. Or you say, okay, based on the entire data set, anyhow you want it to be. And I'm going to hit OK. So once I hit OK, it's going to load this data in, and you see it here. You can see it here. And let me come here and give this CSV. The next one I'm going to show is I go to web. Let's look at how to bring in data from let's look at how to bring in data from a folder, a PDF. So let me go back and open this PDF. This is the PDF. I think is this okay? So let me go back to where I have it. I already shared this with us in our classroom, so you can see there. Where do I have this? I think it's here. So we have this data for world population 2023. So you can see the data. This is how, waiting for it to load. This is how the data looks like. Yeah, this is how we have different tables. So I want to bring in this data from this PDF into Power BI. So it means that one thing you should notice is that before you can bring your data into Power BI, it has to be from a PDF, it has to be in tabular form. So I'll go back to my Power BI, then I'll come here to new source. If you can't find the option for PDF, click on more, then it will bring out more options for you, so you can pick the one for PDF. So I'll select PDF and I'll hit connect. So it would ask me to go and look for the PDF I want, where it is on my system. So it's here. Oh, bro, that's not PDF. Sorry.
Excuse me, please.
All right, thank you.
Please, can you do that again? Because when you were trying to explain it, you're still on the PDF file. When you were trying to show how to.
I'll do it again. I'll do it again.
Okay.
Come here to new source. Go to more. So once you click on more, come to PDF. Select the option for PDF. Then connect. So once you connect, yeah, so this is the PDF now that I want to bring in. So I'll click on this PDF and I'll hit open. So once I click on open, it will bring out all options to work with, all the pages in that PDF. Then you now start previewing and checking the one that you want to bring in. Sometimes it might be, to make it easy, just look at the page number of the data you want to bring in and select the page. And that's it. So let's wait for it to load. It might take time because the data in that table are much. So sometimes the number of time it takes for it to load is dependent on how bulky the data in that PDF is. So waiting for it to load. All right. Okay, so this is the data. By previewing now, you can see these are all the data in that table. All the data in that table. So you just select any one. So I'll just go with, should I go with page 10? I just want to select one of the, so just bring that in. Okay, let me just bring this in. So I'll check this box and I'll hit OK. And that will bring in the data. So I'm going to name this, I'll name it. You can see how dirty the data is. Very dirty. You have to do a lot of cleaning here. So I'll just name this, let me just name this PDF. So it tells us that this data was brought in as a PDF file. Okay, this is data I brought in from a PDF. And the next one I'll show you is, before I show you web, is from SQL Server. So on my local DB, let me open my SQL Server here so I can copy my desktop thing. All right, so how do I get data from SQL Server? So SQL Server, it's a database that stores millions of data compared to in flat file, Excel file, CSV, those things. You can have millions, billions of data stored there. So this is what I need for my. So I'll copy this, Control C. So let me go back to my Power BI. Now, if you're looking at a company that stored data in SQL servers, they will of course have database name, SQL server name. Then there will be a password for you to access the data in that database. But I've given it to you that, okay, as a data analyst, this is your password to access our database for our company. So you have the database already, the password. Sorry, let me go back. Then how do I bring in the data? All I have to do is to come here to new source and I click on SQL Server. So once I click on SQL Server, so waiting for, now we have this dialog box pops up, SQL Server database. So don't worry, you would get to know about SQL in our next class. I mean, not our next class, after this course is SQL Server, is SQL, sorry. So the first thing it's asking for is a server. So I'm going to paste that name I copied. Then if you know the database that you're picking from, I know, but I don't want to just specify. I want you to just bring out all the database I have. So I will not specify. Now we have two options there. There's for data connectivity mode, import or direct query. What import means is we are importing data from the database, SQL Server database, directly into Power BI. Direct query is you just connecting to the data. So it means you're not bringing it into Power BI. You are connecting to the data directly on SQL Server. I'll leave that import mode, and I'll select OK. So once I click on that, let's see. So all the database I have on that in my local DB, you'd see it here. These are all the database I have. So let's say I want to work with the SwiftSmart retail database, this particular database. So all the data set I have are here. So I'll just select, let me just select this SwiftSmart. I can preview the data and see how it looks like. This is how it looks like. So I'll check this and I'll hit OK. So this is me bringing in data from a local DB in one of my system, SQL Server. So you can do this. So company can give you the company SQL Server name, the password, and you just type it in and it will just connect it. So you can bring in data you can work with. So SwiftSmart, I'll give this SQL Server. Now let's do manually how you can manually enter data. So let's assume that the data you want to bring in is not much. Let's say it's not up to, let's say it's not up to, so let me open one file here. Let me open the file for, I'll show you. Let me open the file for the short file for region. So this is for region. So region, I'll open it now. So let's come back. While waiting for that to open. Okay, it's open. So let's say this file is not much now. I want to just put this in Power BI, inside Power Query. I'll just highlight and copy this, Ctrl+C to copy. So after copying that, I'll go back to Power BI, my Power Query. So here in my Power Query, there's a section for enter data. This is the button here, enter data. I click on enter data. And what do I do? So once I click on enter data, this create table dialog box pops up. Now click at this space, this empty cell here at the top of one. Click on it, then Ctrl+V to paste. I just clicked on it and I pressed Ctrl+V on my system to paste it. So that would paste that data that I copied from. That is because I know it's not much. And I copied from Excel to this space. And I can now name it, let's give it sales region. So you want to paste data directly into Power Query, you can. And I'll hit OK. So once I hit OK, you would have the data added into Power BI. This is it. So you can see it here. Then another way you can manually type in data yourself. So let's do for this class. So let's come here and I'll name this table Power BI class with click 2. So I'll come here, or let me just give it click 2 Power BI class. Click 2 Power BI class. All right. So I just need 5%. Tell me your name, what you do, and your favorites. I'll just use cost as Power BI. So name plus sign to add more columns. Let's do occupation. If you're just a student, then let's do course. Everybody's taking Power BI class, so I'll just leave it as Power BI. So I want the first 5 persons. Number one. Who's going first? Who's going first? Your name?
It's okay.
It's okay. Thank you. It's okay. It's okay. All right. Your occupation?
Sales manager.
Sales manager. Then she's taking Power BI course. All right. Thank you. Next person. Zainab. All right, Zainab. So what's your occupation?
Banker.
She's a banker. Amazing. Banker. And she's taking Power BI class. Power BI class. Thank you. Next person.
Faith Alimo.
Alima. Is it A or
ALIMO?
Okay, Alimo. Okay. Then what's your occupation?
Monitoring and evaluation. M&E.
M&A. Okay, sorry.
And E.
And E. Okay, evaluation. Yes. All right, then she's taking Power BI class. Okay, next person. Where are you, brothers? You guys? Joy. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Occupation.
Clinician.
Clinician. How am I going to spell that? Am I correct? Okay, so clinician, sorry.
Yeah, that's correct.
Clinician, Power BI. Okay. Last person. We are the guys. Ma?
Ayomide.
Yeah,
Are you people shy? Are you shy? So Ayomide,
okay.
occupation. Occupation, Ayomide.
Financial analyst. Guided trainee.
Financial analysts. Amazing.
Analyst.
I like as
Guided
all of us
trainee
are
actually.
big person. Analysts. Analyst. All right, thank you. And it's also taking the Power BI course. Now what I'm going to do is just I'm going to hit enter. Sorry, okay. And once I hit okay, it will create that table. So you can see different ways you can bring in data. Excel file, CSV, PDF, SQL Server. You can type it in manually, you can copy and paste it. And the last one I'll show you here is how you can bring data from the web. Let's go to our website. So let's say I want to bring in data for world population. I want to analyze it on world population. So I'll come here to my browser, I'll type in world population. Okay. Then I think I would like to work with Wikipedia. Yeah. So go and click on Wikipedia, world population. Then I'm going to look for where we have the data in tabular form. Then you can see we have it here. We have some data. So let's say I want to work with the one for population by region 2020 estimate. This particular. What I do is just come here, come to the top, copy the URL, Control C to copy, go back to Power BI in Power Query. Then what do? I'll come back to this new source. I can see we have a web option here. Select web. So when I select web, we'll have the dialog box for web pops up. So it's here. And what do? Paste that, Control V. You paste it here. Then I'm going to hit OK. So once I hit OK, this is try to create a connection between Power BI and the data on the web. It's waiting for it to load. Okay. So we have this now. All right. Okay, so this is how we have a lot of information here. So you have to just be sure of the one you want to bring in. So I think I would go with, I'll just select to be able to preview the data. Oh, sorry, this is HTML tables. So I'll not work with this. Yeah, so I think this is what I want to bring in. Population by region, so I'll click on this and I'll hit OK. So once I hit OK, it's going to bring in that data. So of course, you have to be connected to the internet for you to access data on the web. You have to connect it to the internet. So we have this. Now I'm going to change this 2020 estimator. Let's give it web so that you can differentiate. Now you can see how we've been able to bring in data from these sources. We have different sources, so there are a lot of sources can be data from, but just this one. Then what I'm going to do, so let's say I want to load all this data now. Of course, it's not ready for analysis, it's not clean. There's some that needs to be retouched. But I just want to show you how it look like in the Power BI front end. So how do I go back to Power BI front end? I'll come here, still in my home tab. In the close group, you'd see close and apply. Click on the drop down button. We have three options. There's close and apply, there's close. Now, close apply means it will close the Power Query tab and load it or apply your data to the Power BI front end. Apply will do what? It will leave Power Query open and load the data into front end. That means you'll be seeing both tabs like this, the way you're seeing it here. You can see on my system here, you can see Power BI front end is open, as well as Power Query editor is open. Then we have close. Close to just close this Power Query. You just close it. So I'll just come here and click on, let's click on close and apply. So click on close and apply will do what? It will close Power Query. Then it will load the data into Power BI front end. So you can see it's loading it in now. So you have all this. Okay, so I'm waiting for it. Let's. So it's probably taking time because we have a lot of data there. So like I said earlier, please note if your system is slow, you have 4 gigabytes, know that Power BI will frustrate you. I was once there. It will frustrate you. Okay. So why are you taking this time? Why are you taking this long? Okay. So I'm waiting for this to load and go on.
Okay, sorry, ma'am. Miss Blessing.
All right. Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, sorry. I should have asked the question before you load.
Okay.
Because I noticed something. So for other data that the one we typed manually, the one we loaded, the headers were promoted automatically.
Yeah.
But for the last one, that's the one we brought in from the web. It didn't. I noticed I did not promote the headers. So I don't know. In that kind of case, I think it was just columns I saw.
Yeah, right. In that kind of case, all you have to do is just promote the header yourself. So it can happen that way. It can happen. It's very, very possible. It can happen that way, that you load it out and it's not bringing in. There's not promoted the header. So you just have to be the one to do it yourself. So we'll look at it. Don't worry. You just chill. Calm down. So I'm going to close this now. So there's already data in already. So you can see here now. What you're seeing here is just this is loading. So waiting for it. The Power Query tab has been closed, and what you're seeing here is just Power BI frontend. So what you now can you see every data we imported through the Power Query have been uploaded or loaded into the Power BI frontend, and you can see them here on the right hand side here. So one important thing, always save your work. And the first thing I should have done when I open this blank report is to save this file, because if something happens now, it is story for the gods. You would experience a lot of heartbreaks if you don't, especially if your laptop is 4 gig RAM. Trust me. If you don't do Control S, you just say that all of a sudden your laptop just hang, or that the thing just stopped and you have to close it, and that's the end of your work. So how do I save? Right? I just press Control S. Just press Control S, or you come here and click on File. Either you press Control S or come here and click on File. Then you select Save As. But go back. I'll just press Control S. So Control S. So it's telling me, what do you want to save this file to be? Do you want to save it in this location? So if I have another location I want to save it into, I will just find the location. So let's say let me look for another location. I'll come here and look for browse device, browse where I want it to be. I'm going to find, I want it to be in my data click file. So I'm going to find my data click file. So we'll have it saved there. My data click. All right. So I want it to be in this file. What I'm going to do is just type the name. So I'm going to give this click to analytics class. Just give it. Okay. So I'll hit save. So once I hit save, that's it. So you can see at the top here, the title bar here, you can see it's showing click to analytics class. It has saved the file. This PBIS file has been saved. So very, very important. Now, how do I just showed us how you can, how the data would look. So when you come into this table view, remember I said that anytime you're loading data here, you can view them in tabular form in the table view. So you can see it now. You can see this in tabular form. PDF, you can see it in tabular form. Can see it, and you can also do some small basic formatting here if I want to. So I click on this now, you can see there are some column tools you can work with. Do you want to change the name? So now here you can change the name. Do you want to change the data type? Do you want to format the data type? Anything you want to do here, basic things you can do, just little formatting that you can do with this column tool. So here on this table view, you get to see your data in tabular form. So how do I go back to my Power Query? Because what I want to do here is just show us how the data will look here, and also you can save your PBIS file. So how do I get back to Power Query? Come here to in your home tab, inside the queries group, you see the button for transform data. I'll click on that drop down button and I'll select transform data. This button will take us directly back to Power Query. I'll click on transform data. So you can see now we have this. So I am just delete the queries I'll be leaving for this section. I'll be leaving sales region, then this one. Other ones I'll remove them because I don't need them for this thing we want to do now. So I'll remove sales file. How do I remove it? Right click and I'll click on delete. Then this, do you want to delete? Yes, delete. So I'll delete that. I'm going to leave Power BI practice sales from 1 to 1. I'll leave this. I don't want the PDF too. I don't want SQL Server. So I'm going to remove these two. How do I remove them? Select PDF, press down my Shift button, select SQL Math Server. I'll right click and I'll hit delete. Then I'm going to delete it. That's gone. Then, so we have sales region. We have click to Power BI class. I don't want these two out. I don't want the region by web. So sorry, population by web, by region web. Select this, right click, and I'll delete two. Okay, deleted. So I have just these two. Now let's work with, oh bro, I wanted to leave the one population. No, it's not bad. So let's work with this one. This one. Now, okay, so for this data, what you are seeing here, we have dates, other ID. Oh, let me see. There's one that I want to, I will have shown us that before deleting this data. Okay, so let's just continue. Let me see if there's data I can bring in that. Okay, so let's just go on with this. So let's go on with this. So I'll come back here. When you look at this table for sales one, right? For sales one, it has already performed some things already. There's changed data type already. It has used first row as headers already, then come to source, you know, that's done some things. So let me clear this step. Like I said, by default, this is the setting that is on my Power BI. If I go to my settings and I change it now, it will only bring the data, it will not do anything. But it applied to these steps because the settings has been applied. Let me cancel these steps. Don't forget I said if you cancel a step, you can't get it. So can you see this is the way it should be normally as I brought the data in, but because there was a setting applied to it, that's why it's helped me, you know, promote headers and also change the data type. So now let's say this is when you brought in your data, it's like this is an inform. Number one thing wrong with it here is that your column header should not be column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4 like that. You are saying that your column header is on row 1. So how then do you promote or shift this from row 1 to the main column header? To do this, you can find this button in your home tab. Can you find it in your transform tab? No, you can find it here in your home tab. So in your home tab, inside the transform group, you would see use first row as headers button. Now, I'll come here. In this use first row as header button, we have two options. Click on the drop down button. There's use first row as headers and there's use headers as first row. So you need to know when to use which of this option here. Use first row as headers is saying that this first row is what should be at the top. So please move it from the first row to be at the top. Now use headers as first row. So let's say you look at your data and say, what should be on first row is on the column header. It should not be, how do I change this? Then you know that, okay, at this point, I'm using the second option. I have to move what's on the header to be on the first row. But in our case now, our header is on the first row. So I'll go with the first one. I'll click on this one. And this would, we have this, so it has moved it. So by default, now I just change the data type. Immediately after I put the header, I change the data type. So you have to maybe start checking to be sure that it picks the correct data type. So how do I get a data type? We have different data type. When you click on this icon beside your column header here, for each of them, everyone have icons. I click on this one now. You can see this calendar icon because it's date. We have different data type. There's decimal number, there's fixed decimal number. When we say fixed decimal number, it has the data in that column have the same number of decimal places. So if it is 2 decimal places, everything with 2 decimal places, all true. So we have whole number. So whole number, whole number is the integers. It's like it contains no decimal. So whole number, then we have percentage. If that column is percentage, so it's a percentage. If it is date and time data. So how do you know the data is date and time? That is, if you check the data, the columns or the data in that column, and it's combination of both dates and time, then you know it's the date and time column. Then we have date, we have time. If it's just time alone, you know it's a time column. We have date, time, time zone. So you can have it that have all these three together. Duration, text, true or false stable, or false column. Then we have binary. When we say binary, just 1001, 1001. Then using locale. So using locale, most times you use this option if your data is coming from different regions. You know, Nigerians now we're using the UK date format, but US format is different. US is using month, day, and year. So sometimes imagine you're working as a data analyst with a company that is in abroad. You know, we have different time zones and we use different date formats. So you might want to change the date format using locale, this option here. So let's just be sure. We know this is a date table, so this is correct. Calendar is for dates, correct. This particular column contains numbers, so it's correct. It's showing whole numbers, so 1, 2, 3. Because it's ID, most times I like to leave my ID to be text because I don't do anything with ID columns. I don't do anything with ID columns. Then we have customer name. You can see ABC, which is showing text, so it's correct. There's region, text. There's product category, so you can see this. There is a quantity, which is 1, 2, 3, so correct. It's showing whole number. The unit price showing whole number. Total sales, so we are very, very correct. So it's very correct. Now we have this column profiling based on top 1000 rows. So you notice something. Each columns have this teal line color, this teal line color, this teal line color. So now if your data have error or empty spaces, so if it has error, if you're seeing red and white line combined with, so depending on the number of errors that you have, it will show you. Because as I'm hovering around this teal line, it's showing me you're seeing date 30% valid, no error, 0% error, 0% empty. So this teal line is telling you, giving you the quality of the data that you have in that column. So you can see that. And if you don't see that, it's just half teal, then the remaining part is gray. It shows that we have empty values or empty cells in that column. So another way you can get to see all these things very well. One, make sure that at the bottom you see column profile. Yeah, let's look at this first. There's a part here showing 8 columns, 30 rows. So this will tell you the number of columns you have in that table and the number of rows. You don't have to stop yourself. It will tell you, okay, if you have 100 rows, you have 100 rows. It will tell you. So you see the report here on that. For this part, you're seeing column profiling based on top 1000 rows. It's very dangerous to use this. Why? What if your data contains more than 1000? The data is having like 250,000 records. If you set it to profile based on top 1000 rows, errors might not be in the first 1000. Empty cells might not be in the first 1000. I might be in other rows after that. So if you set it to column profile based on top 1000 rows, you might encounter problem because it will not pick the error in row 100 in row 1200 or in row 2000. It won't pick. It only pick errors that are within row 1 to row 1000, and it is very, very, it's dangerous. So what do? You come here, click on the drop-down button, and select column profiling based on entire data set. Now click on that. You might not see any effect because I don't think this data is up to 1,000. It's not up to 1,000. You can see it's just 30 rows. So I'm just telling you the importance of profiling based on entire data set. So we have this now. So another way you can, profile your data to see properly, when you come to your view tab, you can see we have in the data preview group, we have 3 objects: column quality, distribution, and column profile. So I'll stop here and tomorrow we'll continue. So we have column quality. What column quality would you can start? I hover around, it tells you that it shows column quality details in data preview. Now check this box now. This would now show the records of, is it valid, do we have empty, or do we have errors? You see it clearly. Unlike when I hover around the T line, it will not start showing me. But now I can see, oh, for the date column, we have 100% valid data, no error, 0% empty. So if there is error, it would have shown you, okay, you have 1% error, you have 2% error. It should have shown you the number of percentage of error that you have, but we don't have. So I can, with this now, at a glance, I can tell which column has error and which column does not have error. But from what I'm seeing, they are all valid. Then there is column distribution. So column distribution will tell you the distribution of your data. How many distinct value do you have? How many unique value do you have? Do you have more distinct or more unique? It will just tell you. So what do you mean by distinct value? Distinct value means that these values have duplicates. That is what distinct value. You just counted them as one, but they have duplicates. Unique are values that they don't have duplicates. They're just unique. They don't have duplicate at all. They're just there. That's what unique is. So we have, that's what this is. Then we have this column profile. Column profile just shows you the data statistics of every data you have in that column. As I check this now, you're not seeing anything. Let me uncheck column quality, so to keep, and column distribution. Let's leave with this column profile. What we column profile do is to give you a statistics of the data you have in that table. I work with a column that contains text and quantity. So let me work with customer name and quantity column. Let me click on this customer name. Remember, I've checked this box. Remember, I click on it. Then we have this column statistics box up. So it's saying that what is the number? This count is saying what is the total number of values data we have or names we have in the column. We have 30 names. Do you have any error in that column? 0 error. Empty, 0 empty. Distinct. So how many distinct values? Remember I said distinct is that these are values that they appeared more than once. So it's saying that we have 9 distinct. This 9 is saying that these values, we have 9 values, but they have duplicates. Then unique says we have 2, just 2 unique values. They don't have duplicates. Then there's empty string, minimum value, Daniel, maximum is Sophia. So the way this minimum maximum is just in order of arrangement, A to Z, Z to A. So minimum is saying that in ascending order, A is the least, A is the first letter, Z is the last letter. So it's telling us that in our data, the first letter in our data here is starting from D. That's why it's the minimum. And then max is Sophia. Let it stop at the letter S. That's what it's telling us. They can see the distribution, your value distribution. So it's telling us that John Smith appeared 5 times. Peter Brown appeared 5 times. Lisa Adams appeared 5 times. Daniel Green appeared 4 times. Olivia Stone appeared 4 times. Mary Jones appeared 3 times. James White appeared 2 times. Sophia Black appeared 1. Donald Trump. What is it? Oh, sorry, not Trump. Donald Triumph appeared 1 time. All right. So let's look at quality. Not quality, quantity now, sorry. I look on quantity. So now quantity tells you, now don't forget the first column we talked about, we look at now is a column for text, a text data type column. This is for a numeric data type column. Now you're saying count. That is, how many numbers do you have in the quantity column? We have 30 numbers. Do we have error? No. How many empty do we have? No empty. Distinct value, 5. Unique value, we don't have any unique value. No NaN, no 0. Minimum, what's the minimum quantity? 1. What is the maximum amount of quantity? 5. What is the average value? 3.36666. Standard deviation, 1. So to give you a statistical data, how many even numbers do we have? 13. How many odd numbers do we have? 17. It just give you a column statistic. So from this, Let's say I'm dealing with a column that contains revenue. You want to see what is the average revenue. Quickly check column statistics, and I guess average revenue for that particular column. Nothing hard, so simple. So this is how it works. This is how it works. Nothing hard at all. All right, so I think I'll stop here. And then in 1-2 minutes for our class, I'll just want 1 or 2 persons to share what stood out for them in this class. I'm done with this, so we'll continue from here tomorrow. I won't want to bombard us with a lot of things. All right, can we hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, so who's that? Who's talking, please? Sorry. Is that Abdullah?
Yes.
All right, so now who wants to share what, or should I call? Do you want me to call? I don't think I should call anybody. I mean, so who wants to go first? What's that one thing that stood out for you to this class? Or what's that thing you picked from today's class? We'll continue to, not tomorrow, sorry, not tomorrow, on Sunday, sorry, not tomorrow. All right. Okay, I'm listening. Who's going first? So yeah, that's just it. I'll just come here and I don't want to do anything now. Let me just go back to my, hold on. Let me go back to my view tab and uncheck that. So if you want to remove that, just come here and uncheck the column profile to go. Then I'll go back to my home tab and I'll close and apply this. So I'll then save. All right. I'm listening. Please, who's going first? Should I just speak?
I will. Hello.
Sorry, can we hear me? Sorry. Can we hear me?
Yes.
Can anybody hear me, please? All right, so yeah. All right, so here, I just said in 1 minute each, maybe just 2-3%. So what's that thing that stood out for you in today's class? What's that thing you picked from or can you do a quick recap of what we did in today's class? Whichever one you want to go with.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly, loud and clear.
So I would just do a recap of what I learned from today's class. So starting from the data visualization part where we talked about selecting visuals that corresponds with what the audience wants. So we talked about the different chart types and their functions and how you can choose colors that abide with whatever you want to do. So I'm moving on, we talked about Power BI. So the three types of Power BI, the desktop, the service, and the what's the third one? The Android or something, sure. So
Mobile
yeah,
Power BI.
mobile BI, so mobile Power BI. So and moving on from that, we talked about Power BI per se. So being a powerful visualization tool. So we talked about the different types of charts that can be used on Power BI. So we talked about DAX function in Power BI and Power Query. So we showed or you showed us how to use Power Query for importing data. So from Excel files to PDF to CSV.
All right, thank you. Let someone else say something. Thank you. So thank you very much. Okay, so who else wants to go again? Who else? I need a female now. Thank you. You did well. Thank you so much for sharing that. Who is
Okay,
good? Good evening.
yeah.
Like
Okay, so I noticed because I was trying to like also do it from here. So
Okay.
about importing data from different source, like you
Okay.
said, from Excel workbook, from web, from text, from CSV. So
Mhm.
when I try to import from Excel workbook,
Yeah.
there are some files that are not maybe Excel, like they are all saved in a folder. So I clicked on Excel workbook, and under the file, I mean in the folder, I have like the CSV file. So I clicked on the CSV file that I opened through the Excel workbook. So what I
Yeah.
want to ask is, must I always go through the CSV file, or I
All
can
right.
also go through is Excel workbook that has, I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Okay. I think one question I would ask is when you open the folder and it showed you all you could see there were just CSV file. When you selected the CSV file, did it have any impact? Or did it bring out the same thing? And was there any
Yeah, it
problem?
brought out, no, it brought out the same thing.
There's no problem. There's no problem.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Who else wants to go next? And we are done for the day. Who else is going next? Say something. Where are
Sorry.
the Eric? I'm looking for the
Yeah.
guys. The guys. The guys.
Hello.
Okay.
Adekunle.
Hello.
Yeah. I'm so
Okay.
particular about the guys. Yeah, Adekunle.
All right. I've actually learned a lot, most especially from bringing in data from different sources, especially from Wikipedia. You know, I think that one it's really stood out for me. And also, on that introductory part too, how you explain different kind of visuals that we have, and then their usage too. Yeah, I think it's really because some of them sometimes can actually be confusing, but really
Yeah.
explaining and breaking it down, I think it's really.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Please,
All
sorry.
right. All right,
I
mom.
have a
Yeah.
question.
Listening. Okay.
Okay, so I want to ask that the web version, does it work exactly like the application, like the normal app? I mean, for the Power BI. So the reason why I'm asking is because there are some restrictions to which I can download some stuff on my office laptop. Meanwhile, my personal laptop has fault. So for the meantime, I don't know if the web version can still work till I get my personal laptop sorted out.
Like you mean the Power BI, the web platform, cloud platform, Power BI
Yes,
service.
yes, yes.
Yes. Yes. There's we don't have. You can still work with it for the meantime, but there are some restrictions. There are some limitations. There's some things that I don't know if your power because our Power BI class will end by God's grace next weekend. It's just for 2 weeks. So I don't know if you have been able to fix your laptop for them. Whichever way, anyhow it's going to be, you can use it, but there might be just little restrictions to some things or some features to use. I don't know if you get
Oh,
what I mean.
oh,
Yeah, but
okay,
you
okay,
can
okay.
you can actually create report on Power BI service.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you very much, ma'am.
All right, thank you. So anybody, any question, anything before we call it a day?
Yeah,
All right.
I have a question.
Okay.
Good
All right.
evening.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Who is talking? Is that Eric?
Yeah, it's me.
All right. So Eric, give me 1 minute. Adekunle is
So
trying
you
to.
had promised to show us how to sign in without using the company email or the school mail.
Yes, I would show you that by next weekend once we are done building a report. So I would send you link on how to get. And should I do that? Should I do that now? Don't worry, I'll send it next week. So it's going to be part of our materials for next week. I'll send you a link to how you can download, how you can get an email, 365 email that you can use to log into Power BI service. So don't worry about that. I'll send it out to you.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you. So Adekunle.
All right. Okay. So my question is, I also know that there's Power Query in Excel,
Okay.
and now I'm also in Power BI. So I want to ask, is there any difference between the two? That's my
There's no
first
difference.
question.
There's no
There's no
difference.
difference.
The same Power Query
Oh,
in sorry, same DAX. Sorry, you said Power Query,
okay.
right? Or was
Yeah,
it
Power
DAX?
Query.
Yeah, the same
Power
Power
Query.
Query you have in Excel is exactly the same thing that you have in Power BI. So there's no difference. They're both
Okay.
for
Okay.
ETL.
And the DAX too.
Yes. Yes. There's DAX in fact, the DAX have you worked with DAX in Power
Okay.
BI Excel?
All right.
Have you worked with DAX in
Excel?
Yeah. Have you worked with
Yeah, I've
DAX?
worked with like something like calculate and maybe some other little things too. Like
Yes, with your Power
yeah.
with your Power Pivot, right? So yes, you have the same, exactly
Yeah.
the same thing, no difference, exactly the same thing.
Oh, okay. All right. Then my second question is more really like more of like opinion. Like people usually say that Power BI is more of like a visualization tools and
Okay.
not really talking about the, like calculations, for cleaning and then also getting some insights. So why do people
What?
usually talk about?
No, that is what
Okay,
it is. It is a visualization tool.
okay,
It is a visualization tool, right? But I mean, what do you want to be doing in
okay.
Power BI without you can't visualize a dirty data, right? Only if you
Yeah,
have a clean data and you just bring it in as you just build a report. But if you have a dirty data, Power BI, it allows you to build report and also give you room to clean your data as well in Power Query. So it means that I can bring in a clean data ready to be visualized and work with it on Power
okay,
BI front. I can also bring in a dirty data, take it to Power Query, clean it, and bring it back to the front end to visualize my report. So it gives you,
okay,
room to either build a report with a clean data that you have, or work with dirty data by going to Power Query, clean it, transform them, bring it back into the Power BI front end to visualize your report or your data. So
okay,
yeah.
okay. All
So
right, thank you.
you're welcome. All right. So any question? Anybody? Is that all? All right. So I think that's that. So thank you so much for joining today, guys. Yeah, thank you for. I think I want to commend you, your effort, commend your you're being in this class. I know it has not been easy. Giving yourself to joining classes, weekends, and everything is not easy. I've been there. There are times you want to but thank you so much for giving yourself to learning. We are grateful, right? Yeah, we're just grateful. So thank you so much, everybody. See you on Sunday, same time. But please make sure you have a stable name because we're using Teams on Sunday. So thank you so much. Are we having a class roll call? No, we are not. So don't worry. No, we are not. We're not having a class roll call. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We meet again in our next class on Sunday by 6 p.m. So thank you, Eric. Thank you, Faith. Thank you, Helene. Thank you, Oluwole Omotoyosi. Thank you, Soken, Richard, Breakthrough, Zainab, Jimo, Joy, Izine. I don't know if I pronounced that well. Ayomide, I cite you. Thank you, Adenike. Thank you, Adikole. So see you guys on Sunday. Bye. Thank you, guys.